Hey there, how's it going? What is up, everybody? Irish Orangutan is back to pass along what you need to know to get better at Madden and grow your Mutt team. Enjoy the show. We have weekly content back in Mutt. Today we were given player spotlight. There are 6 players that did come out today. There will be solos that will be kind of accompanying these players and some other players that will be coming out. It is really exciting to continue to see some of these players get upgrades and some players that you might not have thought of that PFF may have had high grades on, or they just have a very good opportunity of having breakout years. Players with player spotlights, like the sleeper hits. Jerome Baker could be one of those players that could break out. A future star like Baker Mayfield gets a 99 overall card. The Jerome Baker got a 97. We'll be looking at those a little bit more closely later. And then classics, LaShawn McCoy goes back to his Eagles uniform. They did say there are not going to be any more power ups throughout the year, so this is kind of a way to give players cards that have been on various teams as well. So they are trying to appease the community while they are continuing to work on MUT 20. I greatly appreciate it that they are coming out with some new players and they will have consistent content. I hope they do have a promo, but I understand they are kind of moving on, and the people who are playing, tuning into different things, are dwindling down, but the diehards are still out there, and we do appreciate some content to continue to come along. So again, this will be coming on Tuesdays and Thursdays. There will be player spotlights. That is not necessarily the promo, but what these players will be coming out as. There seemingly will be 6 players, potentially 3 at a time going forward, but maybe they tried to break it out with a little bit larger of kind of something to get people a little bit more excited about it. It kind of worked for Ultimate Legends, and these are some of the best cards in the game, but there are a lot of cards that are comparable to them at this point as well. The first thing that I wanted to note before we got into the players, are there sets for these particular players? They involve tokens, so there's another way to clear your binder. It kind of builds on what you can do to finish out the season. If you have accumulated a lot of these silver, gold, and elite tokens, or just have a lot of those players built up, you can sell them off. Low silvers are seemingly the hardest thing to get up until you get to the elite status, just because they're not coming out of packs and people aren't necessarily trying to get the lowest card when they have the opportunity to pull like fantasy packs with legends and other things that come with poorer cards. Legend fantasy packs and Ultimate Legend fantasy packs. But as you saw with those, the elite gold and silver, it was balanced 11, 11, 11 with these classics going down to the 98 overall. It'll be 8 elite, 9 gold, and 8 silver. And then going down to the sleeper hits, you have 6 elite, 7 gold, and 6 silver. Thankfully, gold are the least valuable at this point, so they are understanding that as well. A note to build on what you can do with those lower end cards. Program stars do have those tremendous exchange sets that you can use for those as well. But those take 30, just really depending on what you do have in your binder. And to get things kind of kicked off with these 6 players, we have Janu Smith, tight end for the Titans. Honestly, not very familiar with this player, to be perfectly honest. Did not see a lot of Titans games. It does not look like he is much of a run blocker. Nice short route runner, and can definitely catch it in traffic as well. Fits well for Titans teams, and that's about it. Jerome Baker was someone that I did see the stats on a little bit earlier, and his speed and acceleration definitely make him viable out there at left outside linebacker. Van Der Esch is definitely a better option for you, unless you're going for someone who can blitz. Von Miller's tremendous. Hopefully he gets another card here soon. He might be one of those. I don't think he'd be a future star necessarily, but hopefully they figure out a way to get him a better card, maybe a classic that is not a different uniform. But Jerome Baker is also pretty solid against the run and then just dropping back into coverage. He should do fairly well on his own. His man and zone, um, as you can see, his catching is not necessarily the highest. Again, fitting him on a theme team is obviously the best way to go with him. Man and zone, low 80s, so definitely not the best right there. The next player we're going to be looking at is LaShawn McCoy. Absolutely dynamic out of the backfield, very, very fast. He is absolutely crazy. 98 speed, 99 acceleration, 99 agility. That is absolutely bonkers. If you just have the Coach Madden, obviously you'll be able to get him up to that 99 speed, and that will be absolutely upper echelon. Next up, we have Akeem Hicks. Definitely on the slower side. His block shedding and power move make him tremendous. Does fit on with the Bears team as well, so they have to be happy they have someone they can play on the inside along Von Miller. Patriots fans might be happy they have some other players that are probably a little bit quicker they can play in those certain positions, but for their interior line, you can't really get much better than some of his stats. So another solid player, just quite slow at this time of the year. At cornerback, we have another absolutely upper echelon player, near perfect across the board, unless you are worried about getting spec caught on. Not necessarily the tallest, and his jump is also very low, to be perfectly honest, for top end cornerbacks. I do have quite a few guys who do have that top end agility. Um, that being 99, along with his speed and acceleration, are or those acceleration and speed are at 98, but those are all absolutely crazy being that high. Norman gets up there with the Redskins boost, but besides that, him and a Panthers team probably wouldn't recommend him. Pat Pete again has agility a little bit taller, so Jair is definitely not probably going to make the top teams, but if you can afford 400,000, you can just plug him in and he can be one of the fastest corners out there though. So just figure out exactly how he can fit in your team. If you have some um, taller cornerbacks you like to use, he can just go up against the Tyreek Hills of the world. The last player that we do have to look at is Baker Mayfield. He has 87 speed. I do really like Mahomes kind of compared to him, and Mahomes came out right at the end of, I believe, the regular season. I might be mistaken about that. NFL Honors is right before the Super Bowl, so right at the end of the playoffs. So that was quite some time ago. So obviously, that is a little bit rough. His throw under pressure is a little bit better. Play action doesn't matter. Yeah, it's kind of rough to see Baker getting a card at this point. Again, he was a rookie. He wasn't as good as Mahomes, so kind of understandable it comes out along that timeline. But then you look at a Kyler Murray. He was the number one overall pick, so he was the number one player in that promo, and I guess Mayfield as well, but I would definitely go with the Kyler Murray. It's a lot more fun to run around with him and try different things. Yeah, McNabb as well. So Baker and Jair are definitely not their upper esh like the best players, I guess, at their position. The 98s and 97s, you kind of understand that they're maybe not going to be, but it's kind of fun to see them. McCoy could be fun out of the backfield, but Um, obviously, if you've been waiting on these players to fit on your theme team, this is a joyous day, but otherwise, this is kind of a pass for quite a few people. It is a very good way to go out and make some coins, though. With those sets costing as much as they do, that is why Baker and Jair are as much as they are. But if you already have those in your binder, it is a great way to go out and get them. But just looking at the market for these players, it is staying up pretty well. So it is, again, a good way to go out and make a little bit of coin. But that is all we have for today and the kickoff of the player spotlight and weekly content going forward. Excited for those solos on Thursday. it's a very good chance they will continue to kick out tokens because that is something that people can't find as much value from, so they have to use it in the certain path. But yeah, that's what we have for today. Take care, everybody. Thank you for checking into the Irish Orangutan channel. Keep coming back for more Madden knowledge. There will be consistent videos up every week, so make sure to subscribe and hit the bell button to see them all. Come by Twitch to engage and hit me up on Twitter at Irish Orangutan. Take care and much love, everybody.